So when Judge Shankman talked about the fact that you might find yourself in a court of a little more limited jurisdiction like the civil court, the thing you have to remember is that the civil court has its own statute, it has some of its own rules, and some of those things are actually diametrically opposed to some practices that we do in Supreme Court. So the CPLR is the overbook, so to speak, but if you have individual statutes, so if you're in these type of courts or particular courts, as he mentioned about the RPAPL, if you're in surrogate court, you have to, if you're doing matrimonial, you're going to have to go with the domestic relations law. So you just need to know that there are places you have to look. So here is just, and this is not exhaustive, the CPLR, the uniform rules which were discussed. In the area, for example, of discovery and calendar practice, if you were to rely on the CPLR, you wouldn't be able to practice in New York. The uniform rules and local practice are very important. And I go through here. The commercial part rules bear almost no resemblance anymore to the CPLR. The commercial part rules looks like you are litigating in the Southern District of New York. In fact, many of the people who put these rules forth are people who practice in the Southern District of New York. I mean, one of the areas that we've always complained about outside their area in expert disclosure is vastly different. And again, I don't want to take away from my other time, but again, here are various other ways. The appellate division rules in 2018 went through a major revision. In whole, a very good idea to have more centralized rules that were uniform, but of course there are still some particular things you have to know. And then I always put in the bottom local practice, which is that dreaded thing that many of us find out, that is that everything we've told you goes into the garbage when you walk into the court and the clerk tells you that we do it differently here. So don't worry about that. It happens to all of us. But again, you need to know the reservoir of information that's out there in order to do it. So let me go to my topic, which is statutes of limitation.